What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Today is the day that we're starting Clockwork Angels. Wow. Incredible. All right, and it's going to be a longer one because I got some things to go into, some things to get into, some things to talk about. I've got a giveaway. I've got to go through information on this. Wow, look at that. This was sent to me a while ago, like last year sometime, and I have not listened to it yet. I've been holding it until now, and it has the lyrics on it. I will be reading along. Wow. It also has other like information at the top, kind of like probably story information, storylines or whatever. I don't think it's part of the lyrics, so I'll probably read that before we start also, before we start each song. But the giveaway. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe, check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, space videos, music videos, check it out. If you like the channel, all kinds of ways to support the channel. I do donation requests. All that information is in the description below. Okay, so giveaway. The wonderful, amazing Jim Tatro sent this to me as a giveaway. So you can thank Jim Tatro for this, okay? If you want this sealed copy, there's a little bit of a break in there. Oh, don't worry about that. It's still fine. If you want this sealed copy of the Rush tour book, Wandering the Face of the Earth, the official touring history, and you know how cool it is. You see the tour information videos that I do where I'm reading from it. It's really pretty cool. It's pretty cool information, especially if you're one of those hardcore Rush fans that have been to dozens of shows. This would be cool. It just makes it even cooler. So, and Jim specifically wants it to go to, you know, a Rush fan. You know, somebody that's really into Rush. So here's what we're going to do. Every single Clockwork Angels video, I'm going to say, hey, here's the giveaway. Here's the rules of the giveaway. You need to live in North America. You need to email me if you want your chance to win. You need to email me at jpanreadsemail@gmail.com, right here. Your name and your email address, and that's it. I'm going to announce the winner. I'm going to do some randomized whatever thing they got on the internet, those randomizer giveaway things, okay? And I'll email you and let you know that you won and get your information, and then I'll send it to you, right? But I'm going to announce on the overview of the album. So on the 13th. On the 13th will be the overview, and that's where I'm going to announce who won and all of that. Okay? So you have kind of until the 12th, actually. You have until the 12th at night to submit. Okay? I will be doing the lottery at whatever time at night, okay? I might have a gig that night, probably, actually. But I'm going to do it that night. That's what's going to happen. Again, North America, email me, jpanreadsemail@gmail.com. Your name. It could be just Justin P. First name, last initial. That way, if there's like a ton of Tonys or something like that, I'm not like, yo, who? Okay, so it could be that. It could be your full name, whatever, as long as I can decipher you from all the other Tonys, okay? Or I should say all the other Gords or whatever. And your email address. And that's it. And I'm going to pick a winner on the 13th. It'll be announced. So you got until then to email me if you want this book. If you already got it, don't ask for it. Let somebody who doesn't have this, who really wants it, who thinks that this is super cool, who is the biggest freaking nerd, get this, okay? So that's who Jim wants to receive this book. He gifted it to me to give away. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim Tatro. Let him know. Jim Tatro. Let him know. Okay, in the comments. Okay. Clockwork Angels. Here we go. So I've heard Caravan, and I've heard BU2B, and I got a little bit of, you know, throwback in terms of like it's part of I didn't get it yet. I didn't understand. So it's actually a good thing that happened, because now I'm going into this understanding that like, okay, this has nothing to do with Neil, because I think it was BU2B was a little bit, I was saying preachy or whatever it was, those kinds of things, but it's not about that. It's not him. It's I mean, it's him writing it, so like it's coming from somewhere, but I'm gonna hold that. That's not what's happening. This is a story, and it's like a different angle, right? So it's from the angle of the character. Cool, got it. Okay, so let's get into some of this information just from the Wikipedia page. You guys know how I do it at the beginning of these. This is going to be an extra long video because of the giveaway and all that stuff, but in this information, I feel like it's good for me to go through this. So Clockwork Angels, 19th and final studio album. Wow, I am at the end of the studio albums, and it's taken over a year. Damn. I will be gauging all discography reactions in the future on this, on how long it took to do 19 albums plus how many live albums plus, you know, anyways. Yeah, so we're not doing yes. There's your answer. Okay, 19th final album, Rush, released June 8th, 2012 on Roadrunner. During the band's year-and-a-half break following Snakes and Arrows tour, the group decided to write a new studio album. The album was recorded 2010, Blackbird Studio, Nashville, from October to December in April 2010 in Nashville, and from October to December 2011 at Revolution Recording in Toronto. Two songs that would eventually appear on the album, Caravan and BU2B, had been released to radio stations and made available as a digital download June 1st, 2010. Following the release of those two songs, the band embarked on the Time Machine tour. They performed them in the set. Clockwork Angels was completed following this tour. The album's second single, Headlong Flight, which I have heard. So before I started doing their discography, you know what? That video may have gotten taken down. Oh no, that video got taken down. Oh no, is that about to start? Wow, we've went this long without having a problem. Yeah, it got taken down. Oh man. Okay, so I've done Headlong Flight. I did a live video of it. This was a recommendation by Greg Russell before I started doing the discography. So before I started doing the discography, the Rush discography, I was doing all kinds of bands, whatever, just live clips, because live musician wanted to see bands live. And I started doing Rush, and everybody was throwing all these suggestions at me. And Greg Russell, you know, was a big, like, he threw a lot of stuff at me. Headlong Flight was one of them. And it was up for a while, but then it got taken down. Like, something happened where it got blocked. So I really, I totally forgot about that until right now. So that's why it's not on the channel, because it got taken down. So I really hope that doesn't, like, at this stage in the game, in the journey, at the end, basically, that doesn't start happening, because that really sucks ass. Okay, so that really sucks. Hopefully the album will be fine, but it was a live clip. It was probably from Clockwork Angels tour. I'm guessing, totally guessing. Where else would it be from? Did they do it on R40? Maybe it was R40, but it was one of the two, and it got taken down. Damn. So I have heard it, but it's been over a year since I've heard it. It's been a long time, so it'll be new to me, pretty much. Third single, The Wreckers. Okay, all right. Debuted at #1 in Canada, #2 on Billboard 200. Rock Album of the Year at the 2013 Juno Awards. Okay, at the end of Snakes and Arrows tour in July 2008, the group took a year-and-a-half long break, which Rush released the live Snakes and Arrows Live compilation Working Men. Band reconvened in LA in December 2009 to discuss what projects they wanted to undertake in the coming year. Among their options were to start a new studio album and undergo a major tour. As Peart later wrote, "Fools that we are, we ended up doing both." Right, yes, I think I have heard that interview. The idea of an album with a backstory as opposed to a collection of different songs became an attractive one to the group, for which Peart detailed one set in a fictional world with a suite of songs telling a story. Rush had worked on new material as early as February 2009, but Alex Lifeson denied a speculation that they were set to make a concept album at that time. Rush adopted the band's usual songwriting methods, which included Geddy Lee and Lifeson working on music at their home studios in Toronto, while Peart worked alone from his California home on the lyrics. group had encouraged one another to become more spontaneous with their solos and live performance, which became a primary element while writing new music for Clockwork Angels. Lifeson had to consciously hold himself back from layering guitar tracks, as he wanted to emphasize the basic rockiness of the songs and resorted to greater use of double tracking. That's where you play your part, and then you play it again, and then you play it again, and then, you know, I mean, for things like vocals, some vocalists do like freaking at least 4 doubles. You know, it's where you're literally doing the same thing. You're performing the same track twice or 3 times or 4 times, and it makes it thick because we're human. It's not going to be exactly the same, but you're trying, the point is to get as close as possible so that it really just beefs up and thickens up that sound. Okay, that's, you know, studio stuff, basically. The sessions were productive. In March 2010, Lee said, just about a month and a half ago, we had no songs, and now we've been writing, and now we've got about 6 songs that we just love, and Lifeson predicted a spring 2011 release. After some weeks into the writing period had developed his story further, leading to the band's agreement to adapt it into a concept album, while having each track make its own statement. Rush had previously recorded conceptual songs throughout their career, but had yet to commit to a full album concept. Lee was apprehensive towards the idea at first, as he wanted the group to move forward in direction, not adopt something typical of fellow prog rock bands of the 70s. Music Radar wrote that despite the story-based theme, the album fails to get weighed down by the plot. In a change of pace, Peart wrote the lyrics to Clockwork Angels on a blank canvas without using any preconceived ideas that he had written down. Early in January 2010, Peart had written some ideas and sent them to Lee and Lifeson. When they paired the words to the pieces of music that they had come up with, Peart was influenced to devise a story and lyrics set in a dystopian steampunk-inspired world lit only by fire, named after the same titled book on the history of the Middle Ages by William Manchester, and driven by steam, intricate clockworks, and alchemy. He had incorporated elements of ancient tradition with tarot cards on vapor trails and the ancient Hindi game Leela on snakes and arrows, and wanted to bring in alchemy for Clockwork Angels. Peart wrote a lyrical chapter for each of the album's 12 songs, representing the mood or atmosphere of each track with its own symbol as depicted in the artwork. The plot is based on various sources such as Candide by Voltaire, with nods to the novel The Sotweed Factor by John Barth, and writers, all kinds of freaking writers. Okay, and early Spanish explorers in the American Southwest for the 7 Cities of Gold myth. Development paused in April 2010 when Rush announced the band's Time Machine tour, which was initially set to run from June to October of that year. The tour saw Rush perform 2 new songs, right? Caravan and BU2B. They had also written The Garden and The Anarchist at that point. With the first half of the Time Machine tour finished, Lee and Lifeson resumed to write the rest of the album in early 2011, but the sessions had not produced strong enough results, barring some furious jams that became the basis of Carney's and Headlong Flight, right? You remember this from the interview last night. There was also difficulty in matching Peart's lyrics to the new music, which resulted in many rewrites, some on the day of recording via email. Lifeson later complimented Peart. Neil came through, he never complained. In August 2010, Lifeson remarked that the album was turning out to be very musically driven. In particular, Lifeson referred to the nearly finished title track Clockwork Angels as an epic song and a multi-parted piece, described as very dynamic. Peart said of the Still In Work album in May 2011, I intend it to be my highest achievement lyrically and drumming-wise. When the final writing sessions began in late 2011, Lee and Lifeson decided to swap instruments at one particular meeting. The result was what became the Wreckers, right? We heard that story also in that interview last night. Clockwork Angels contains string arrangements composed of 6 violins and 2 cellos. During the album tour, concert sound mixer Brad Maddox faced gain before feedback challenges when amplifying the strings for a large audience. I'd worked with strings in the past, but it was always either in a very quiet setting with minimal sound reinforcement or the violins were strictly electric, right? On Rush's Clockwork Angels tour, the band definitely meant for the strings to be featured and acoustic. Yeah, that would be hard in a rock band, you know, where everything's loud and then you just have these tiny little, I mean, think of a violin. and you're miking it. It's not plugged. If you're not going electric violin, you're miking it, and there's going to be just an intense amount of bleed. That's, bleed is like the sound everywhere coming into the microphone more than what you just want. You want the violin to come through, but bleed is everything else also coming through, right? Bleeding into the sound. Though the band's 1976 and 78 albums 2112 and Hemispheres are often referred to as concept albums, Clockwork Angels is the band's only true concept album, as the album features a continuous theme with the lyrics telling a story that runs from beginning to end. Right, yes, right. Caress of Steel 2112 and Hemispheres all feature a sidelong suite that tells a story. However, the lyrics of the other songs on those 3 albums have very little, if anything, to do with those stories. Yeah, and also it's only half of the record. It's not the entire record. Okay, cool. Recording. Rush recorded Clockwork Angels in 2 phases. Mixing was completed by Richard Cheeky at the Sound Kitchen in Franklin, Tennessee. That was for those 2 early tracks. However, they decided to extend the tour with dates from March to July 2011, thus pushing back the release of Clockwork Angels. That August, the band announced their deal with Roadrunner in partnership with their domestic label Anthem Records to handle their international distribution, making the end of their time with Atlantic, which began with Presto. Okay, second phase of recording took place in Toronto. Strings were recorded at Ocean Way in LA. On his personal website, Peart revealed that he took a new approach in writing and recording his drum tracks for the album. I played through each song just a few times on my own, checking out patterns and fills that might work, then called in Bouge, Nick Raskulinecz. He stood in the room with me facing my drums with a music stand and a single drumstick. He was my conductor and I was his orchestra. I would attack the drums, responding to his enthusiasm and his suggestions between takes, and together we would hammer out the basic architecture of the part. His baton would conduct me into choruses, halftime bridges, and double time outros, and so on. So I didn't have to worry about their durations. No counting and no endless repetition. Okay, novel. On February 9th, 2012, science fiction novelist Kevin J. Anderson, a longtime friend of Neil Peart, announced that he would be writing a novelization of Clockwork Angels. He also revealed the information about the album's concept. In a young man's quest to follow his dreams, he is caught between the grandiose forces of order and chaos. He travels across a lavish and colorful world of steampunk and alchemy, with lost cities, pirates, anarchists, exotic carnivals, and a rigid watchmaker who imposes precision on every aspect of daily life. Okay. Released on September 4th, 2012, the novel was followed by a loose sequel titled Clockwork Lives, which was published September 15th, 2015, followed by a graphic novel in 2018. Album's front cover, designed by Hugh Syme, depicts a clock marked with alchemical symbols instead of numbers. It displays the time as 9:12, which in 24-hour time is 21:12. A reference to the band's 4th out tour. Right. 9:12 is also unintentionally a reference to Peart's birthday, September 12th. Okay. Released on August 8th in Australia, followed by United States and Canada, June 12th. Why? Why is that? That's just like physical copies? Is that what that is? And Europe, June 13th, British magazine Classic Rock released a limited edition fan pack containing the album and a 132-page magazine on June 11th. Whoa. Do I have? No way. Do I have one of those? No way. Somebody sent me a bunch of those Classic Rock magazines, like 3 of them or something. I have them. They're in here. And but I don't think this is one of them. I was gonna say, wait a minute, hang on a second, do I have that? What? Okay, I don't think I do. The single Caravan was released. Okay, Headlong Flight. All right. Album debuted at number 2 on Billboard 200 with sales of 103,000 units the first week. In Canada, the album debuted at number 1 with sales of 20,000 units. By June 20th, over 40,000 copies of the Classic Rock fan pack had been sold out. Had this release been eligible in the UK album charts, the album would have debuted at number 1, as more people bought the fan pack than the album alone. The later debuted at number 76 in the UK before it reached its peak number 21. All right, I think it's time. I think it's finally time. And here, I'm going to read this little blurb because I don't think it's the actual lyrics. I don't know for sure. I'll find out when it starts playing, but it doesn't look it. It's in like a different font. Okay, it says, it's Caravan. We're doing Caravan, right? It seems like a lifetime ago, which of course it was. All that and more. For a boy, life on the farm was idyllic, but for the young man I became, that very peace and predictability were stifling, unbearable. I had big dreams and needed a big place to explore them, the whole wide world. Near our village of Barrel Arbor, the steamliners touched down and traveled on rails along the winding Pinion River toward Crown City. Watching them pass in the night, how I prayed to get away. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to be looking at the lyrics. We'll see how much that messes me up or not. I mean, you know, it's first listen. I expect that I'm really going to need those extra listens. All right, here we are. Rush, Caravan. Let's do it. Bam. Quality is great. If you remember, those singles that I did were really not. Vapor Trails. that section, right? Okay. Yeah. I dig it. I like it. I mean, this is now the third time I've heard it. And at the same time, it's like the first time I feel like I'm actually hearing it. Kind of. The synths, like all the atmosphere stuff, I feel like I'm hearing for the first time. The solo. I like this song. I do. I was warming up to it after I heard it live. I could just tell. I was like, yeah, I can dig this song. I could definitely dig this song. It's cool. And I really actually thought it helped reading the little blurb, like the kind of storyline piece before getting into the lyrics. I thought that really helped. And it makes a lot of sense. I like it. I like this song. It's definitely a good one. It, you know, when he goes up to those chords or whatever, sometimes I can't help but think of Vapor Trails because it was just so chordal, bass chordal. I can't help it. Yeah, what hit me most was just like all the atmosphere stuff and the synth stuff that I was really catching, and then also just musically what was happening based on lyrically what was happening story-wise. Like, okay, this is this kid that's going to the city. He's young. He's moving out. He's moving out. This is Rush's moving out. That's funny. Yeah. Okay. And then we got BU2B next, which I didn't know this, but there's two. So this brought up to believe BU2B is, you know, kind of like the young version, and the second one is where he's had life experience, he's older, and he's reflecting, right? Am I getting that right? We're doing the first one. That's up next. Don't forget about the giveaway. Email jpanreadsemail@gmail.com, your name, your email address, be in North America. That's it. I'll catch you in the next video. See you then.